Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show that's all about speaking your truth, sharing your stories, and sparking the conversations that matter most. I'm your host, Rodney W. Collins, and this is the Speak On It Show. On this show, we dive deep into the thoughts, experiences, and ideas that shape our world. It's a place where voices are heard, perspectives are celebrated, and discussions are not just encouraged, but cherished. Whether it's culture, politics, personal growth, or just life's everyday adventures, we're here to explore it all. We've got engaging interviews, thought-provoking discussions, and sometimes we might even stir the pot a little bit. Speak On The Show is where we challenge the status quo, celebrate diversity, and engage in conversations that make us think, laugh, and grow. So get ready to be inspired, get ready to connect, and most importantly, get ready to speak your truth. Without further ado, let's jump into today's episode. It's time for the Speak On It Show with your host, Rodney W. Collins. Good morning, good morning, good morning. First and foremost, giving honor to the God who allows me to come into His manner on a weekly basis. How's everybody doing out there? Hopefully everybody had a good week. 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific every Saturday morning here on the Rodney W. Collins Speak On This Show. You can find me on YouTube, Rodney W. Collins channel, or on Facebook, Rodney W. Collins channel. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We got a great interview this morning. We're going to jump straight into it. But my guest, I'm excited. We got a lot to talk about. She's doing big things in the community out here in Las Vegas. A lot of things going on that she's taking international, I'll say state, United States wide anyway, but we're going to get into that. So without further, we got some good mornings already. Let's see who's saying good morning. Terrence Collins, good morning, my brother. Appreciate you. Thanks for your support. Brian Hoodie, good morning. Appreciate you. And if y'all have any questions that you want to ask while the interview is going on, I'm pretty sure that she will be happy to answer them as we go. Because I got mine, but if you got yours or you want to find out some things, we can go from there. Trent Branch, my brother, good morning. Appreciate you. Reggie P. Rowe, good morning, man. Everybody rolling in this morning. Good morning. Appreciate you, my brother. Thanks, everybody, for the support, man. Y'all been supporting me for a long time. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. And let's show my guests some love. Without further ado, let's bring her on in. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I'm going to let you, because I done butchered it up already. I'm going to let you.
Oh, my God. We practiced this already.
We practice when it comes to me. So I'll let you tell everybody the pronunciation of your name.
I wrote a song about it. So, okay. But it's, I am Tabia Mawusi. So I always say, a mama woo woo see, a mama woo woo see. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Tabia Mawusi.
Tabia Mawusi.
Uh-huh. Right. You can call me Tabby. Most of my friends do.
Tabby. Mm-hmm. Robert McKinney, good morning, my brother. Appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. So, first, let's say good morning again. I appreciate you. This is a conversation that we came upon through a good friend of ours, Mr. Robert Miller, good friend of yours.
I call him Uncle Gypsy.
Uncle Gypsy.
He looks just like my uncle on my mother's side.
Okay.
Just like him. So go ahead.
I want to get him on in some time because he has a lot of things that I think a lot of people should hear about. He has his own African American history channel and different things like that. So I'm gonna try to persuade him to come on and give us a conversation. But with you, how long have you been in Las Vegas?
I moved to Las Vegas in August of 1998. So it's been almost 30 years coming up here. It's like 26, maybe. I don't know. I stopped counting after 20. I was amazed that I'd been in one place for so long.
27.
27 years? Yeah.
27. All right. Well,
yeah.
Well, you've seen it grow.
I have. Absolutely. I remember when Cheyenne was far out.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll be driving to Tule Springs later today to visit somebody in this.
Yeah. for
It's
some,
not even far out anymore.
yeah, for some of y'all listening and don't know, Vegas is more than the strip. I've said that many times before, but
Oh
yeah, we
yeah.
don't live on the strip. Um, so let's jump into it. So, what does the name Tabia Mawusi mean?
Okay. So Tabia Mawusi was given to me when I was at the University of Washington. I was majoring in theater, and the director had 8 young Black women that she was really mentoring in the theater of art school. And she did a ceremony, and it was ancestral. It was August 16th, 1996. And she gave us all names, and my name means talent in the hands of God. Um, and Tabia basically means talent or good behavior. And Mawusi, if you Google it, it says Black people. That's what it says. It tripped me out. Um, I'm getting feedback of my own self. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Um, so anyway, it it was really kind of crazy because at that time I've always been spiritual, but I was really kind of taken aback by the hands of God. The definition given to me for Mawusi, but Mawu is like a African god, and Si is like possessing something. So it's like something God possesses. So Tabia Mawusi means talent in the hands of God, or what I like to say, divine talent is another way to put it. Um,
I seen that where it said meaning divine
yeah,
talent.
yeah.
Yeah. So, for you, when you were bestowed that name, you know, how how did you react at the time? I ask people this because we all have nicknames per se. We just
Uh-huh.
because most nicknames, they go along with our stature or anything like that. But to hear something
So if
totally
I
different,
okay, so I'm being fully transparent here. At that time, I was uh, a hot mess. I was full of myself. I was feeling myself. What they'll say. Smelling yourself, right? And as like a lead in a play, I'd been doing a lot of really great things that I thought was great. I'd started Kiamsha, which was on campus at the time at the University of Washington, and the last thing I expected her to say was that, and I felt like, oh my God. At first, when I heard Tabia Mawusi, I thought, oh, that sounds like kind of sexy. What's that? I want to know, what does that mean? So then when she said what it meant, I was like, whoop, what? Um, so I kind of at the time felt a little shocked, but as I've grown with it over the years, and when I moved to Vegas, nobody knew me. So I told them, everybody, my name was Tabia. So, I was born Theresa Michelle Lockhart. And I like that name too. All right. It means I'm all into letters and numbers and names and things. And so, but Theresa Michelle Lockhart means great reaper of the harvest who is like God with a heart for the fold or the sheep.
wow.
That's what Lockhart means. Um, so to me, it kind of went all together at like made sense that Tabia Mawusi, talent in the hands of God, was my name. And then I had to realize that I was responsible for my talent, that it had to be presented in the right way and not the wrong way.
Mm.
And as a aspiring actor and singer at that time, I had to be really careful about what kind of image I would put out there. There's a gentleman, his name is Wayne Vaughn. He wrote the song Let's Groove Tonight. He worked with Brothers Johnson. He's married to Wanda. Um, of the emotions to Sister Wanda. I can't think of. I call her Wanda as Wanda Vaughn, but I think they had another last name at some point when they were sisters and not all married. But anyway, he's been one of my mentors over the years, and he told me at that time when I was having a conversation with him, talking about how I wanted to be a star. You know, you want to be a star. That's how he would put it. He's like, so you want to be in the light, you want to shine, but what message are you going to send? What image are you going to leave behind? What story is your life going to tell? And, you know, how is it going to impact the world? And it made me take a step back from the direction, you know, yeah, I'm getting myself. Sorry.
I said there's some feedback, but I think it was better when I adjusted, so I'm hoping it's better on your end.
Okay.
Yeah. So I noticed your work, and I want y'all to hear this because this is a lot. It says your work spans hypnotherapy, author, playwright, numerologist, spiritual coaching. How do all these disciplines intertwine in your personal and professional life? Because that's a lot.
Well, I think that there's more to who we are than just what we do on a day-to-day basis. For sure, you know. And I think a lot of people do a lot of different things. You know, I started out writing a play. The first play I wrote will actually be 16 years old tomorrow. It was 16 years ago tomorrow on the 9th. I wrote the play Lies Left Unspoken, and it's an inspirational stage play about a pastor and his wife, and they but they become foster parents to different sets of kids, a total of 4 kids. And it's 25 years, you know, later when all the kids are, well, not 25 years later, but they're celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary and the pastor's 50th birthday, and everybody comes home to celebrate, and all these lies of the past get exposed and everybody's lives are changed forever. But it's a story about a family that is able to forgive and mend from the lies that were told when everyone finds out the truth. So, but yeah.
They say they're getting feedback again. So
pardon me?
They say they're getting feedback when you're speaking, so I'm trying to think if it's on my end.
Yeah, I can try putting my headset on if that works better.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can connect it instead. Now I got to put my glasses back on because I can't see it.
Do a little break and we'll come right back. All right. So y'all hang with us, bear with us because we want to have this conversation. So we'll be trying to find stuff. I can't find my things now. Oh, you're right. Hold on. Fellas, it's time to elevate your grooming game. Introducing Respected Roots, the premium beard care line designed with Black men in mind. Because your beard isn't just facial hair, it's a statement, a symbol of confidence, style, and strength. All right, let's talk about keeping your beard sharp and on point. First step, sculpting. Fresh lines are everything. Keeping it clean and defined sets the foundation for a great beard. Once I've got the shape locked in, it's time to cleanse. The Respected Roots Beard Wash gets rid of dirt and buildup without drying out my beard. It leaves my beard feeling soft and refreshed. Next up, the beard oil. This is where the hydration magic happens. I massage it in, making sure it gets to the skin underneath. It keeps my beard moisturized and smelling fresh all day. And finally, the beard butter. This locks in all the moisture, smooths out any frizz, and gives my beard that healthy, polished shine. Look at this. It's soft, full, and ready to dominate. From sculpting to styling, Respected Roots has everything you need to take your beard to the next level. Gentlemen, your beard deserves respect, and respect starts with Respected Roots. Use the link to grab yours today and receive 15% off. Trust me, your beard will thank you. RespectedRoots.com/Rodney 55428. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Are we good now?
I'm hoping. Hold on. Is this better? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay.
Hopefully there's no feedback. If there's some feedback, somebody let us know if we're good. Just put it in the comments.
Because I think it might be because it was coming out of my computer speaker and then my microphone was picking it up. I do apologize. I think it was my fault.
Difficulties. You know, we're one woman operations. My brother says much better, so we're good.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
So we were in the you were talking about the book with the pastor.
Yeah, the play. It's actually, this is it right here.
Okay.
We did it in 2010 and 2011 here at the West Las Vegas Library Theater. Okay. Great. I'll tell you what, it was nothing like watching a play be embodied and walk across the stage and the story told. And getting a standing ovation every night was really amazing, especially since it ran for 2.5 hours and nobody left. So it made me know that I did pretty good.
Hey. Goes into urge you to create Mend the City.
So I titled this book right here. It says Lies Left Unspoken down here in the bottom. That was the title I gave it. Okay. But me being the spiritual, obedient being that I strive to be on a continuous basis, I was typing Lies Left Unspoken on my final page on February 9th of 2009. And the spirit said, that's not it. And we had to have a conversation. So I was like, what you talk about? That's not it. I got 8 characters that say, it's because of the lies left unspoken. We should have never left the lies left unspoken. So how's that not it? And I got a song titled Lies Left Unspoken. So what you talk about? And spirit just said, just find another word for lies. I'm like, okay. So I went to the thesaurus and I was reading all the different definitions, but synonyms for lies, and mendacity was there. And I stopped there for a second and I said, nah, Tennessee Williams wrote a play called Mendacity. So I got ready to go away. And I literally, in my mind's eye, saw the word mendacity jump off the screen of the computer, split into 3 words that said Mend a City. And the spirit said, the city I'm calling you to mend is the ethnicity most often known as Black or African American. And that's how it started.
That's I mean, for it to just, because when we first talked and I seen Mend the City, I was like, oh, Mend the City. Okay, and now that you've broken it down like this, it gives a whole nother.
It's a tear the lies apart and mend a city. And the city I'm calling you to mend is the ethnicity you most often refer to as African American or Black.
Yeah, this is. I often wonder, and I'm going to ask you this: often when people, as well as you, people get those type of, we call them messages, divine intervention, however you want to see it. Is it, and I don't like to use the word fear, but is it scary, or is it something that you just embrace? Or, I'll ask it this way: did you try to run from those things?
No, so for me, and in my one woman show, which I tell a lot of little short stories. It's called The Gospel of I Am In. And it's a bunch of little short stories about my life and my Black experience,
Mm,
right? And when I was 4 years old, I had this little girl that I was playing with outside, and we were outside of my uh, barracks, the barracks in Kaiserslautern, Germany. And my mother was in the kitchen cooking, and I was outside playing with my little friend, and she was Caucasian or white. And she says to me, I got to go in before my daddy comes home because I'm not allowed to play with colored niggers. And I said, what's that? I might can't play with them either. And she said, you are silly. And I was like, huh? So I went in the house and I asked my mom what a colored nigger was. And that the little girl said she come play with me because I'm a colored nigger. And it didn't sound too good. So I wanted to know what a colored nigger was. And my mom broke it down as best as she could, explained to me that, basically what I got from it at that age is that there are people who don't like me because I'm Black.
mhm,
And I remember going and digging in the dirt, playing. It had rained outside earlier, and I was digging in the dirt, looking at the dirt, playing in the mud, and I was crying and asking my inner self because I didn't know what to call it at that time. But we had a lot of conversations since I was 4. I remember having conversations with my higher self, so or inner self, as I would say when I was younger. But um, and I was like, why did you make me Black? I want people to like me, and people don't like me because I'm Black. Why did you make me Black? Of all the things I could be in the whole world, why did you make me Black? And that still small voice inside me said, it matters to my people that you are Black.
mm.
And I said, okay. And I was fine. Like I calmed me completely down, and my Blackness has always been important to me.
I'm listening to you and I'm thinking at the same time, there are many of us, Black people,
Hmm.
remember the first time we realized
We were
that
Black.
racism towards us and we were because we were Black, or we realized in that moment I'm Black. No matter what you've seen, if you were young enough to remember when they showed Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King on TV, or you heard about Malcolm X, you will remember, and I think most of us will agree, the time when you realized it's it just clicks because of something that was done to you, said to you,
Hmm.
how you were treated, or any of that. And while I was sitting here and you were talking, I was like, wow, I remember that. I remember when it happened to me in the
Right.
park, playing with people who live across the street from me that I consider friends and sports and everything. And this one time it was you, and I don't like to use the word,
Uh huh.
and
Uh huh.
whoa. And the first thing I did, because you react, you had heard it, but not from someone that you considered a friend in that circle. And the swings just kept coming. I mean, it was just that reaction because you know it, but it was a wake up call that as much as they may smile in your face, you're still Black. You're
Right.
still,
One of the conversations when you say that, and I think that is needs to be discussed, and we need to really talk about it because Uncle Gypsy and I, or Robert Miller and I, have had several conversations about allies
mm,
and the importance of understanding that there are allies, that we would not have had the opportunity as a people to move this far and progress. And it's kind of like what I like to say, that enough of them sucked on the mammy's titties long enough to know. And I'm like, I don't know. I've been using kind of language on your show, so I do apologize if it's over too much. But They had enough time to suck on the mammy to get that nurturing and that energy and that spirit and that love. Like my grandmother, she worked for a extremely wealthy family, and we're from a town called Swickley, Pennsylvania. And Swickley is known for the really wealthy families that are there. And when she passed away, their kids were more heartbroken when my grandmother passed away than they were when their own mother did. Because then they said it. That was she raised me. That was my mother to me. And I think that there were enough of them who didn't necessarily pick up on the hatred and the visceral, the complete and total ignorance that the mindset of white supremacy puts out there, that is fueled with violence and hatred. And it really, like I like to say, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, I think, put it the best. It's fear of a black planet. They're afraid of being annihilated, of no longer existing, because they understand the dominance of our genetic makeup. They may be a dominant culture for now, but eventually they're terrified that they'll no longer exist because they also realize they haven't been here that long.
Tell it. Trent Branch just put something up. He said we talked about allies just last week. I have a thing that I always say when we get into these conversations. You're either
Mm-hmm.
or a lie.
Oh, I like that. I'm gonna steal it. Ooh.
Feel free. I didn't patent it. I say when you really think about it, if you say you're my ally, then when these things are going on, you're speaking up just as loudly or louder than me.
Right.
What you find out is those that say they're allies are really a lie, because they're going to go where they're comfortable and where they don't have to deal with those type of interactions, because it's like return to your respective areas during this fight rather
Right.
than in the front for the fight. And like you said, Gypsy said, we do have allies, but can we really call them allies when it gets down to the nitty gritty? Because it's easy to speak to me or you one on one about what's going on, but where are you when it really needs to be said, or where are you at the times
So do you know Tim? You know Tim Wise?
yes, I know.
That's an ally.
Oh yes, and what's the female's name? Um,
which female?
the short, grayish hair. Oh,
Oh, the doctor,
yes,
the teacher.
yes, I can't remember.
I always mess. Is it Elliot? Is her?
Here you go, Dr. Elliot.
Is it?
Jane,
Is it Elliot?
I think it's Jane Elliott.
Is it Jane Elliott? Because yesterday I was thinking Jane Elliott, but I wasn't sure because I know there's a poet from like England or somewhere back in the day. I think her name was Jane Elliott too. But yeah, she actually teaches the truth. Like, I saw a clipping on I don't know if it was TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. It was a clip of a video where she's breaking down the fact that we've been here tens of thousands of years before Columbus ever knew that this continent existed. Well, the Olmecs had been here. We were already here. They didn't bring us all over here on ships.
Mm-hmm.
They're not competent enough for that. Not to bring that many. That not successfully. I think more of us died on the ships than made it to the land. So
Jane
there's
Elliott,
it is. Yeah.
90 years old.
Yep. Yep. She's
90.
all
She,
day an ally. She's like, we're all Africans. We just, lost some color. Then there's that story of Jacob, but
yeah.
we don't have to go there today.
That doesn't know who Dr. Jane Elliott or Tim Wise are, pull them up. Go to YouTube and pull up some of the videos where they talk about the racism and the discrimination. This is given the perspective not only for, as a someone who of non-color, but someone who tells you historically what has gone on in the world, where when you really listen to them, it makes you realize that as much as people of color are tried to be minimized, we are the chosen people. And you really have to listen to what they say, because a lot of times when you hear Roland Martin or any of these other people, you just take it for the fact of that's who they are because they look like us. But go listen to somebody that don't look like us, tell them the truth, and it'll give you a different perspective. It'll make you walk a little taller.
Right.
It'll walk a little taller and make you, really understand that you are not who they portray you to be. You are.
Right. They don't want us to know our own history. They did everything that they could to make us not know our own history, because if we knew our own history, we would know that we are walking on our birthright, that this land does not just belong to what they call Native Americans or Indians, but it belongs to us, that we were here too. And that's part of the narrative that they don't want us to know and understand. Um, the book I was talking about before is called The Gospel of I Am In, or The Gospel I Am In. I
Mhm.
Am In is an acronym for Indigenous, Autochthon, Melanated Nation,
What's
because we are in,
what's the A stand for
huh?
again? The A. What is the A?
Autochthon. Autochthon, it basically means like sprung out from the ground, the original people of a land, or a place. It's a little bit more deep than indigenous. At first, I was saying aboriginal, but when I learned the word autochthon, it's AUTOCHTHON.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah,
Talk.
and um, and so I say that the I am nation, like I think from a legal standpoint, especially with the social security numbers and everything, we are all a nation to ourselves. And whether we come together as a nation of people is what needs to happen right now, especially right now we need to come together as a nation of people, and that's really what the Mended City movement is about, is us coming together to unify, strategize, and organize an agenda for us to mend a city.
Yeah,
And that means to be solution focused, being willing to use your skill set, talents, expertise, and abilities, and your passion to bring solutions to the table for challenges that we experience as a nation.
the when you say Mendocity, and I want
Hmm.
to get into this. So, and this is going to step on some toes, but when we talk about us as a people,
Hmm.
how do we get to the point? And I know we're all not going to always agree, but we have to learn to agree to disagree. But it seems like as time goes, we become more divided for some unknown reason. I mean, I know everybody has
It's
focuses, but I'm
it's
about to chime in. Go
it's
ahead.
by design. It's by design. It's that social engineering. It's by design. There's a lot of alpha males out there who have to pretend to be beta males in order to be accepted by the dominant culture and survive and succeed. There's a lot of black women who have caused their young men to be less of an alpha male because they saw their husbands and the men that they admired get lynched because they were business owners and successful back in the day, and they didn't want to see that happen to their sons. So my ex-husband is a big guy, and he's about the most humblest person when it comes to, especially when if he's talking to someone who's like, yes, boss, no boss. That was really weird to me, coming from the East Coast and being a military brat, to see that Southern. Um, I don't know if the right, like, to me, Las Vegas is the Mississippi of the West. All right. There's a lot of racists in Las Vegas. And when I first got here, it was very evident. But over the years, they've become more. what do you want to say it? Not commercial. What is that? They've been more incorporated than they were back in the day. Today, they're more incorporated, right? And so they've more in hiding the racism, but it still exists. It's very much there, especially in the system, the employment system, and what's happening with DEI and the woke. I don't even understand what the GOP means when they talk about woke. Oh, the feedback's coming back.
Yeah, that's someone said that. I don't know.
I don't know what it is.
Is your you
I,
can hear through headphones, right?
I hear. I'm listening through the headset now, and there's no coming back on my system.
Okay.
StreamYard needs to work on some stuff.
Yeah, it's always the system, right? Yeah,
It's the system. It's not the operator. Come on now.
but you had said something that really jumped out at me, and it's this fact of, and I know you mentioned Las Vegas, but I think if we really look at it, if you ask anybody anywhere else, what you said as far as it being indoctrinated or it's in the systems around, this has been a steady progress process of what they've been trying to do, take over this, take over that, and these different things. And I think anybody listening or anybody that's not listening can probably relate to the fact that when you go and you interview for jobs and everything like that, the first thing that comes to your mind is, I know I'm qualified. I'm probably the best candidate they got. But if I don't get the job, is it because of these systems that are preventing me from being able to do these? Because what I found out is a lot of these jobs that we end up taking or we get into, some of them, and I won't say all, but some of them at a certain time were looking to fill a quota, you know. And now
Hmm.
needing DEI, or you're talking about this wokeness. And I was reading something about the military today with Pete Hegseth, where he said that, we're all the same people and everything like that. That's why they're getting rid of DEI. But being a military person, I know how it is when you're up for promotion or you're up for these awards, and you may be the sharpest uniform, you do everything by the book and everything, but someone that doesn't look like you will get the promotion or get that position or get the award simply because
They're right.
they recognize you. That too. That's the biggest thing. Yeah, because you have
There's a entitlement. There's this sense of entitlement. You know, the other thing in my one of my books, I have the mental malady of white supremacy. That book came out of something I say in my one woman show, and that is that white supremacy is a mental illness that is keeping America from achieving its true ideal and dream of what it says it is. The Declaration of Independence says all men are created equal and that we should have all these inalienable rights given to us by our Creator, and that we are to be able to pursue the right to live life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? All these things that the Declaration of Independence says, there's a dissonance between it and the democracy that it's supposed to put forward, that we're supposed to be walking with.
yeah,
There's no real democracy in America when the white supremacist mindset is running rampant like it is now, and has been for years. And even I'm studying in a DSM in my mind body psychology class that I'm taking right now. Um, I still am a student at HMI. I got into hypnotherapy because I was working on a book to heal the mindset, which is the first clarion call, and got into hypnotherapy and wound up joining the school and taking the classes. And so now I'm a certified hypnotherapist, and I'm in my second year. But um, the DSM is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual for Mental Illness. And there's probably a good 7 or 8 different mental illnesses that white supremacy could fall under based on the symptoms alone. They're extremely violent, there's a lot of hatred. They have this ideology that they're greater or more superior to someone else. And it's all a lie that they believe and have fallen for, and when it comes to extremist violence or hatred, violence of hate, 84% of the crimes in 2023 that were all committed by white supremacists. And the biggest pushback that the European or the not Western teachings and psychology, um, the biggest challenge they give the DSM is that the Western culture is narcissistic by nature of the people who are running the country. And there's a lot of narcissistic symptoms that are in the DSM-5 that are in that mindset of white supremacy. It is a poison, it's toxic to America, and it needs a healing. It needs a healing.
Something, and you sparked something. I'm gonna put up a couple of comments that some people said. Robert McKinney, military members come from the country. The same issues are prevalent. If you rewind your career, you'll see instances now that you did not see then. True. It's
Yes.
true. But something you said, and this is something that I've always wondered, and this is kind of going off a little bit, but it's in the same line.
Mm-hmm.
Understand how maybe I'm just ignorant, but I don't understand how these people with this white supremacist mindset can go and cheer on these athletes in these sporting events, and then at the same time have this total hatred towards them. Now I understand it's entertainment, so that's why it's there. But I don't see where I could straddle the fence in that matter, I guess, because I look at myself and I say, if I don't like you, I'm not going to support you in any type of way. But when I see these things, I look at all the people at these football games and basketball games. You look at the arenas and it's like, are you serious right now?
They're slaves on the plantation of the billionaire owners of that football team. That's all. I mean, that they may be making millions of dollars themselves right now. I mean, back in the day, not so much, but now. But compared to what the owners of that football and basketball team are making, Minister Farrakhan is the one that put it so eloquently when I heard him say it, that they're basically, slaves on this. They still slaves on the master's plantation. And so it's. Ah,
I think the hard part for me is what you said, what you just said,
mm-hmm.
is the hard part to swallow. Because these guys are professionals at what they do. And you want to look at it in that sense. And that's the most, I mean, I know that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I try to separate it from that. But in all reality, you have to look at it as what it is.
So, yeah, let me put it to you this way, to where I got to understand as I thought about it myself, because that question's come up. As much money as there are a lot of Black billionaires,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of Black millionaires, and as much money as they have, there's a limit to what they're willing to do because they fear losing what they have. Right? They fear not being able to continue having it or getting it, right? And it's really sad that it's that way. But I think that until we boldly speak out against the dominant culture, which is white supremacy, racism, and capitalism, which to me, they're all the same damn thing. Okay. Until we speak out against those things and be boldly speaking out against it, but not only that, come together with solutions to the challenges that we experience as a nation of people within another nation, right? Like, I am truly an American. I believe in the American dream. The American dream is real clear to me. I remember when I was 7 years old, learning about the Declaration of Independence. Actually, I don't even think I was seven yet, because I was 6 years old when I started this second grade. Yeah, I was on Fort Lewis at that time, military brat. And learning about the Declaration of Independence, it was the 200, I'm telling my age now, it was the 200 bicentennial of it, right? And I when I read it, I was like, "What? America's great.
Mm.
This is by nature of the documents that are its foundation. America is the best nation in the world. If we could leave and go somewhere where we could have the same things that paper says we should be able to have as people in this nation, they're trying to throw it out right now, and people need to wake up. Like, wake up. Like, my business, Kiamsha by Tabia Mawusi, means wake up, divine talent. I'm just telling you to wake up. I don't know what the GOP means when they talk about this woke culture that's toxic. No, y'all want people to stay asleep. You want them to be dead men walking in the matrix of deceit.
Yeah.
I'm there walking with you, feeling empty and completely torn and down and wanting, right? So there's so much that they don't want you to wake up to. They want you to stay asleep, which is why they constantly talk about that woke culture. I don't even, what does woke mean to you? You know, woke is great. Woke is means I woke up today. I got life in my body. I can breathe. I can walk. I can stretch. I can express myself.
Yeah.
I can be aware of what the truth is instead of falling for your lies, because that's what they want you to do, is stay asleep and be dead men walking. And like I said, I wrote a poem, The Matrix of Deceit. Like, that's what they want.
Yeah, there's a couple comments. Let's put this up. Robert McKinney, minstrel shows require stages.
Ah,
And here's the question that I can't answer. I looked at it. Does white supremacy need to be healed or truly eradicated for the sake of the Declaration of Independence?
it needs to do both.
Right.
So I think that there are those who are going to exercise that mindset in an extremely violent way, and that needs to be eradicated. They need to be locked up, put under the jail. I don't know. We'll discuss that in closed doors, okay? But I do think that there's a mindset of white supremacy that is international, that the dominant culture has gone and colonized every single land mass that there is on this continent and claimed it as their own, and have really infiltrated that mindset into the people. Like, we are all, to some extent, white supremacists just being in this nation. We have been institutionalized, indoctrinated to have white supremacist mindset, even when we don't want to. I remember when I got married and I moved to Compton, and being a military brat, I had never been around so many black people at one time, and in a room with so many black folks at one time, or walking down the street in a neighborhood that was all black, because like I said, I'm a brat, I'm a military brat. I was around a very mixed group of people from all nations. I am evidence that we can all get along, because we did it when we were in junior high and high school. And anyway, so I said all that to say that we all have some behaviors and mindset things that we need to heal from. I'm working on a book right now. I have several. I have like 9 books I've written since this, that I haven't published yet, but I'm working on finding a publisher right now. And the one is called Healing Racial Trauma, and it's about all of the experiences that there are white people out there who really think that they're not racist, that are, that when they become aware of the racism that they are holding on to, there's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of guilt that they're holding on to, which there can even be some trauma associated with the revelation of I'm not anti-racism. Like I think there's racists and there's anti-racists, and you're either one or the other, and there's no in between. But there's a lot of people who think they're anti-racist, but they're quiet and they're not doing anything because it's not impacting them or their lives every day. And they don't think it's going to impact them or their lives. It's not me. It's just I I'm not going to go out there and do it myself, but I'm also not going to do anything to stop it. That is a racist mindset. An anti-racist is going to speak truth to power and speak out against it. Which we do have those people who do that. Um, but I think that when it comes to healing, there are a lot of people who just really need a healing. They need to understand what it is, and it's not their fault. They were indoctrinated into the system, to the education system, to be white supremacist mindset, have a white supremacist mindset, even though the media makes like racism doesn't exist anymore.
Something you said about the paper, the Declaration of Independence, on what is written on paper, and I want to go back. I think it was Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King that said that. He said,
Mm-hmm.
you know, stand on what would, and I'm paraphrasing, stand on what
Mm-hmm.
you have written on paper, as far as the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, all these things that everyone has the rights, no matter who you are and everything. You talked about the racists and the anti-racists or whatever. But I remember Jane Elliott, and I watched this one, Jane Elliott, and she was in a room full of people, and she had them all stand up, and she told them, for all the white people in this audience, if you would change or accept or be willing to deal with the things that black people have dealt with, sit down. No, or something to that extent. And the way it came out was, she said, that there's racism, and that black people aren't treated right, but what are you doing about it? And that's the biggest thing, is that these people that we call and that we associate with, that we call friends, know the struggles that we deal with on a consistent basis and everything, just because of who we are. But what are they doing to help us? And that's why, when we talk about the allies or ally or racist, anti-racist, it's all the same. If you're not standing for something, you'll fall for anything. And like you just said, the media that feeds into this fire. You turn on Fox News, and everything you see on Fox News,
I can't do it.
I black. Well, I only do it because,
I do. I will, but it don't last for very long. I get so my blood starts boiling. I don't even have high blood pressure, but at that moment, my pressure's high, and I gotta save me. I
yeah.
gotta say I can't do
And the thing
it.
that I think a lot of us, we look at and we say, oh, that's just them. That's just that channel. But you have to think about
Mhm.
how many people watch that channel. You have to think about how many people are engrossed in everything that they say. Case in point, if people would step back for a minute and look, the January 6th was not something that just happened. These people went there with a purpose. And if they can do that at the Capitol, what do you think they're trying to do to us in this country as a whole? I seen
Right.
this morning, and I'm going, but I seen this morning
Mhm.
where, they got the immigration thing. They stopped all immigration, right? But Donald Trump signed an executive order to receive any, what they call Afrikaners, which is white Africans that want to migrate to the United States of America. Not black,
What?
only white Africans. If they want to migrate to the United States, they are allowing them to come here, because they're saying that South Africa has become discriminatory against white South Africans.
No, they want to come here and push the apartheid agenda.
It is.
That's what Elon Musk is and his family. They're all about apartheid. They don't like that it ended. Elon Musk is absolutely. I'm just not going to give him my energy right now. I can't do
I
it.
seen that this morning. It just, it brought that bubble in my stomach again, because it's like, wait a minute. So we're stopping all immigration, but anybody that's white in South Africa that wants to come here, the
Can
doors are
come.
for you to come. So that tells me this is not about immigration. It's about who and what they look like that are trying to immigrate to this country.
Oh, they're not complaining about who's crossing the border in Canada.
They're
They're
not
not complaining about that
they're
at
not
all.
coming from Europe. They're not complaining about the ones where they do about Asia every once in a while, but it it's it's embedded in the fabric of what this country was built on and what they continue to do.
It's
And
international.
I, well, and you were overseas in Germany.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
People, when we're in the military, we don't pay attention to anything, but you remember things. And I remember how my first assignment was in the Philippines. And I remember how mixed children of African American military members and Filipinos were treated so much differently than the normal Filipinos. Italy, Germany, places I've been, I've seen where if they have been born other than what their nationality is, they are treated like they're the scum of the earth. And most of them are banished from even having a family. They kick them out of the families.
Mm-hmm.
So something that just happened. I joined the military in 1984. Some of
Okay.
these age as me when I was in the Philippines, same age as me when I was in Italy or going to visit Germany and all these places. So let's not be blind. I think people need to understand. Let's not be blind that this stuff is just happening because of what's going on with these executive orders and all this. This has been a blueprint for a long time, and I think and I say this. So I'm gonna ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm jumping around. I always say we fell asleep at the wheel. Do you think that's the truth, or is it something that I think we maybe got too comfortable, or how do you see
Well, I was told when Obama got elected, he got elected right before I finished writing the first play and came up with this vision to mend a city, that racism didn't exist anymore. And I think that we got distracted and comfortable, that we are caught up in the having of things, the materialistic lifestyle, the bling and the fame, and all of those things have taken over the essence of who we truly are, and is more important than our need to survive as a people. Like, we got distracted, we got divided and conquered, right? I wouldn't say conquer, I'll take that away, but it's the main thing that they do is divide, right? They divide, they make it divisive. That whole Jimmy Lynch leather, or Willie Lynch, it's Willie Lynch, the Willie Lynch leather, divide them and they'll be slaves forever, right? So I really think that the challenge that we have right now is to wake up, really wake up. Look at what it is that you can do, what your skill set is, where your passion lies, what your expertise is in, and look around and see where the challenges are in our communities. Look at what it is that we're facing right now and find out and figure out what it is that you can do to make it better. What solutions can you bring to the table? But before we can really do anything, we need to unify. What's Powernomics, Claude Anderson, Dr. Claude Anderson
yes.
talks about this. He says that, you know, everybody, racism is a team sport, right? There's 8 clarion calls in the movement. Clarion call number 5 is to the feet. Everything is a body part. It's like symbolic of the body of Christ, but it's the body of the people, right? And it's the feet. The feet, the reason why it's the feet is what you use to run the race. And we are in a nation, in a world where racism is the race that we need to pay attention to, because they have showed up and played their game very well. They wrote the book, they wrote the rules for the game. We haven't even showed up for practice as a people. Not really. We have gotten better. Don't get me wrong. We've gotten a little better, especially with this last election, especially Black women. Brothers too. Those 20% of you missing, but we can work on that. But we
Yeah.
really
But you
need
said
to unify, organize, and strategize how we come together. If we can come together, if we can really be united as a people, if we can get our team to show up to practice, then we can learn how to play the game, and we can win the game, because we always win when we come together as a team. Look
I,
at the basketball teams out there. They
yeah,
look like us.
something you said about we need to show up to practice. But I always add this in there too. Yeah, we need to show up to practice, but we also need to be practicing before we show up to practice. And I think that's one of the things that we're not doing is we're not working on taking and doing what we need to do for ourselves first, and then showing up to practice where when we do show up to practice, we're already embedded into what the practice is about. But a lot of us are showing up to practice
Right.
with no clue of what we're trying to accomplish. Yeah, Trent Branch, haven't shown up for practice, you said a mouthful. So
Yeah.
it's
I gotta
we need to for
play this
sure.
and take it off my screen. We're good. I
Oh, okay.
just needed to switch. My I just looked up and my laptop's dying.
Oh,
It was fully charged, so it's been less than an hour. It's not been an hour yet, has it?
yeah, it's 1 hour and 1 minute,
I guess
2 minutes.
maybe we're close to it.
So, um,
Oh, we've been on. Oh, well, we got on. We logged on early. Okay.
yeah, we logged on a little early. I know we jumped around a lot and everything, but what I want to do, because we got in on a lot of different things here. Um, Trent Brand said, "Have your sneakers on when you come to practice."
Be ready to run. I'm ready to run. They said when they read it, they
If you
can run with it.
have to get,
Right? I got several books out there for people to read so they can run with them. So that's what the Wake Up Divine Talent series is all about. Um, how to show up to play the game. It's called the it's called Mend a City, the playbook, and or Wake Up Divine Talent, the playbook, and it's all about how to join the movement, what you can do to join the movement, how you answer the clarion calls, because we're about you making a commitment here. This isn't just about you, whatever. It's about you making a commitment to answer the calls and how you're going to answer, what call you're answering, and then coming together with the people in that calling to provide conversations and solutions to the problems. Um, and then there's a workbook, which is more about self-care and your own personal growth and development. Uh, you know, and you asked me a question.
no, I was reading.
Okay.
And they don't have to be Jordans either. Just come ready to play.
Okay.
It's because we laugh about
Right. That. That's true though. They don't have to be Jordans. That's
I've never.
I don't do name brands if I can help it, especially if it's not doing nothing for our people for me to buy and put all that money into a thing.
I played ball, but I never owned any Jordans. I bought the cheapest shoes I could find that was comfortable on my feet, and I left it alone. I mean, I didn't need to have something out there looking like flashy or nothing. Just give me some shoes that tied up and wasn't going to bust open. I'm good. But with that said, I think a lot of people are so concerned about not understanding why they're showing up. That's why they don't show up. So we can take that into the analogy of they don't have to be Jordans. You don't have to be the most educated person on what the struggle or the movement's about. Just get involved in the movement and learn as you go. There's too many people out here that complain and complain and complain, but then when it's time to get involved, they step back because they don't feel like they can add anything. I will say this, number one, your presence adds more than you know.
Right.
Adds more than you know. You can bring something to the table that you didn't even think you were able to bring by just showing up, because something can be pulled out of you that you didn't even know you were capable of.
Which is what education really is, but go ahead.
Yeah, we need to get that out of our mindset that, well, that's really not for me, or I don't know this. No, it's not whether you know it. It's whether you're willing to learn it. Because when you go to practice, you run plays. And you don't always know the play, but you know where you need to be in that play once you start running it repetitively. So if you show up at practice, whether you know the play or not, we're going to teach you to play. And that's
Mhm.
where I think some of us need to get back in this fight and stop being on the sidelines thinking that I don't have anything to offer. If you've been in a struggle, if you're a black person in this country, you already in the fight. You just don't know
Right.
it. You
Absolutely.
just don't know it. I just
You, you said so much because oftentimes that the limiting beliefs that we are attached to, that have jumped onto, like I like to say, like jump into our body or jump onto our body, because of things that have been said, and a lot of things that have been said to us we're carrying in our bodies. And so there's a release and a healing that needs to happen there. But if you just come and participate, what I really like about people who show up, um, is that even the person who's called the people to come to whatever the thing is, right? Whatever the meeting is, whatever the topic may be, your presence is going to help them pull out everything they need to pull out to pour into you, right? And you'll have an opportunity to receive whatever message it is that you needed to receive in that moment, and be a part of something greater than yourself, and find a tribe that you can work with, that has the same goal or mindset that you have to move forward. We've made a lot of progress in this country, but we're moving backwards. I don't know if you know Roland Martin's show.
I watch it all the time.
Okay, did you see the one where Greg, I can't think of the guy's last name, but the guy that did the Vigilante Inc.,
No, I
and
didn't.
he's talking about the election suppression that
Oh yeah,
happened,
yes I did.
where this wasn't, they talked about, oh, there were 4 million Democrats that stayed home this election cycle and didn't vote. No, they voted. Their votes just didn't get counted because they were thrown out, because 37 one person could challenge 37,000 black people in Georgia, and their votes didn't count, but they think they counted, you know, because it was a provisional ballot that never got counted, got thrown away.
Yeah.
So that was 3.5 million black people, but altogether 4.7 million African American, black, Latino, and Asian people's votes were not counted.
Right.
I'm not Obama, Kamala. We all want him to run for a third term so bad, but
Just
then Trump could, and we don't want that to happen. So anyway, but anyway, um, she should be our president right now.
yeah.
I believe that completely and totally. He admitted at his own rally on his inauguration day that they rigged the election for him. And I'm still trying to figure out why we're still sitting here and not doing something more about it. And I guess legally, there's not. I called the lawyer yesterday. There's not much to be done. And there's no legal precedent to overturn an election once the president is in office. Well, he just admitted he rigged it. How can we sit here and do nothing? He stole the election, and he's doing a horrible job, although people are blind. And like I said, dead men walking in the matrix of deceit.
Yeah. So I want to ask you this one.
Mm-hmm.
Looking ahead,
Yes.
what's your ultimate vision for the Menda City movement?
So the play, this one here, this is a play that I started writing in 2015. I wrote it with Zuli and Philip J. Lightfoot. They're other poets in Las Vegas here. I met them at Raw Remedies during the Soul Sessions event that they had there for quite some time. I used to host it as well. But I made a call back in 2015 for poets to come and work with me on writing Menda City, the movement. I was standing there, and there's a gentleman, his name is Trice B. Phantom. He wrote a song called Beautiful Trouble. and he was singing at a Raw Remedies soul session event. And while he was singing that song, Spirit told me, um, the next play is going to be Mendez City, the movement. And you need to ask these people, these young people, to provide their words. And I'm like, okay. So I made a call out. I probably had like 10 poets show up at first, and we had a really couple of good sessions. And then I asked them all to just work on some poetry and submit it. And the only two that actually submitted something were Zuli and Philip, but it was enough for us to put this wonderful story together, which is like a chronological experience of who we are as a people in this nation and what our experiences were when we were still in our tribes, and vibing to the love and the village mentality of community, and moving into the transatlantic slave uh, experience. There's a scene in there, but goes all the way up into modern day times with the protests. But at the end, it's a call to action. It's a call to action for you to join the movement, to become part of this Mendez City movement, and answer the clarion calls. And so the 8 clarion calls, like I said, they all represent a part of the body. So the one is the head, which is the mindset. 2 is your arms, which is your influence and your reach. 3 are the legs, which is the foundation, is the thing that holds us up, is what we stand on. It represents the family. 4 is the body, from the shoulders to the torso. And that body is all about, what are we eating? Is it the pharmacy that's healing you, or the pharmacy that's healing you? PH versus FA, right? And understanding that how we source our food, where we source our food is important. What we're putting in our body is important. And that's all a part of this systemic system of killing and dying, and keeping people alive long enough to make billions of dollars off of one life. And then 5, like I said, is the fee. It's the race. It's how we run the race. It's about politics, policies, and people, and how we can get in and get involved to make certain that we're supporting the candidates and the people in our communities that we want. 6 is about the hands. The hands is, what are we creating? What are we producing? You know, what are we agreeing on in business? What kind of collaborations are we having? How are we colliding together in business? But it's about business education, um, and AI, technology. That's the word I was looking for. And then 7 is to the soul.
Mm.
And I am a spiritual being having a human experience. And my soul is my mind, will, and my emotions that is housed in this body temple, which needs a home. So it's all about home ownership and building generational wealth. And then the 8th clarion call is to the spirit, and that is the resilient spirit to survive at all costs. And so right now, what I'm working on is putting together an HBCU tour, because I want to tap into the youth that are up and coming, that are currently really in that place. I remember being 18 and 19 years old and really not knowing what it was that I wanted to do with my life. I might have had some ideas of what I wanted to do, but not really knowing enough about myself. And the other, those 2 books I mentioned earlier, the playbook and the workbook, there's a third book, and that is the numerology guide. Because I do believe that the day, time that you were born, as a spiritual being, you chose the exact day and time that you were born to enter into this world, because you knew that the planets and the stars and those numbers on that date were aligned in such a way to equip you with the tools that you need to succeed in what it is that you were sent to do. In the word of God, it says that every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God shall not return void, but shall accomplish the task for which it was sent. And we are the word embodied, right? We are, the world was framed by the word. We are the world framed by the word. We are the word embodied. And so we have been sent here with a task, and the numerological and astrological values of who you are can tell you so much more about who you are to help you have a deeper, more spiritual understanding of what it is you are here to do. And so I wrote put the numerology guide together. It's like 400 pages. It's very exhaustive, but I think it was necessary in order for people to really get a foundational understanding of those numbers. And so, anyway, those are the things that I want to impart to the students at the HBCUs. We did the play at North Carolina A&T. We did it at Bennett College in Greensboro. We did it at UNLV, and it was very well received by the students. Their lives have been changed. You know, I talked to Zuli, who is a professor at. Her name is Venetia Boone, but her pen name is Zuli. And she is a professor at North Carolina A&T. She also teaches at Bennett and a couple of other colleges there in Greensboro. She's constantly directing, and she would be the director of the play. And she's talking all the time about how those young people who have even graduated now still talk to her about their experience and doing the play. And I think that's why I had to go and write those books, because everybody did the play. And then I'm like, call to action. I said, well, go do your thing where you are. You know, you can be bring solutions wherever you are. But in order for us to unify, I had to write the books in order for there to be a playbook, so that you know how to join the movement, you know what your responsibility is to do in the movement. But my goal is to create charters within those schools so that they're able to be absolutely active and engaging in what needs to be done for us as a nation of people, and for all the wonderful, amazing Black professionals in the world. The majority of them, I think it's like 80% of them, come from HBCUs, which is why they're so vital and important. And it's something that they're definitely trying to take down right now.
Yeah,
So,
I was reading something on that yesterday or the day before, where the funding for HBCUs is on the chopping block and all these other
yes,
different things, and then at the same time they're trying to minimize our admissions into the PWIs. So, which, they're trying to eliminate us from having any access to education, whether it be our own HBCUs or their colleges, which are called PWIs.
because education is what has put us in a position to be able to share our gifts, our talents, and our abilities, to show that we are more than capable to do the jobs. And they were stealing their jobs. Their mediocrity is no longer needed, right? When they're faced with people who have had to push for excellence from birth, right? Like, really push for it, because we can't survive without it.
But like I
So,
always on this show, African American women are the most educated women in the world, really.
in
I
the
mean,
world.
States in the world, and
Hmm.
that's a fear. And as I mentioned last week, we talked about Roland Martin. I'm reading for the second time his book White Fear. And if you go, anybody, excuse me, if you go and buy the book, which I would recommend, and you read it, it tells you and breaks down the history on how we got here and what's going on now, and the playbook they've used, and why there's so much white fear, as far as you said in the beginning, Public Enemy said it too, fear of a black planet.
Yeah.
Is fear of a black planet. And it's not that we trying to take over nothing. We just want our equal standing on where we are and who we are in this world. And that's what it comes down to. So, but if there's anything I can do to help you out, you just reach out to me, let me know.
Thank you. I would say that right now, the website is macmove.org, but it's still being built.
Okay.
Um, And but I can receive emails at info@macmove.org. Anyone who wants to support, I'm even happy to share the books and the links to the books. They won't be permanent links because I'm working on finding publishers right now, but it's definitely anyone wants to read any of the books and you want to email me at info@macmove.org. I'll be more than happy to share the link to the book so that you're able to access it and read it. And then I only thing I ask is for a review.
And it's info@macmove.org.
Macmove, MACMOVE. So it's the Mend a City movement, but I call us Mac Movers. We're Mac Movers. I'm a Mac Mover.
Info@macmove.org.
Yes.
Okay, I'm
So
gonna
if you
put that.
email me there, share your name, I'll get a Google form out so I could get people to start joining. If you are at a HBCU, if you graduated from an HBCU, you know somebody who's graduated from an HBCU, if you're an alum, if you're attending an HBCU, if you're faculty or staff at the HBCU, I want to hear from you. I'm putting together right now. Um, well, I've actually created everything. I'm just in the process of getting ready to start sending letters out to student governance associations, department heads. I want to do a essay contest, and also could be a video contest or just however you use your art contest, and it would all be for you to finish the STEM sentence. I would mend the city by, and however you finish it is on you. So I'm working right now to find some sponsors for what we give away.
But
One thing would definitely be that I want to do a spoken word event during the tour. It would be 30 schools that we would go to out of the 105. It's about a third of them.
okay.
And we would start, I want to start at Little Rock.
Mhm.
Uh, and then I want to end in Atlanta. Um, and for Juneteenth in 2026, um, it would be just before the 250-year anniversary of the United States of America. And I'm not sure we're going to make it there.
Mm.
I'm not sure we're going to make it there this year. Unfortunately, with the climate being what it is and the agenda of the MAGA party and Trump and Elon, I'm not sure. And I think that there's a lot of people who just want to live their lives and ignore it, but they don't realize that all the things that they have right now that they're able to enjoy, they may not have them if they don't wake up and pay attention to the right nows of what's happening and actually get engaged and become part of the solution instead of staying asleep and being a dead man walking in that matrix. Yeah,
Trying times.
right. Absolutely.
Robert McKinney. If you exterminate all the brutes, HBO series. Exterminate all the brutes. Check that.
Mm. Is
But
that's somebody's book?
no, I think it's a docu series on HBO. He says
Okay,
exterminate.
View. Okay, exterminate all the brutes. I have to check it out.
See if we can find
Thank
it.
you.
Well, we want to end. We've been about an hour and a half already, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But I went on. But let everybody know. You already told them again once. I posted in info@macmove.org.
Uh-huh.
Anybody wants to get involved, or as you said, those charters, but they're going to be at the HBCUs. Maybe someone listening has.
We can do it in a city or community. It's the HBCU is the first target, but we also are looking for community leaders to get involved. We're looking for, anyone who wants to get involved and participate, and especially if you have that leadership um, mindset, that ability to draw people in and lead them. We definitely want you to possibly start a charter in your own state, city, school, wherever you are. If you're an educator, definitely. Everybody fits into the movement. Everybody fits into the movement.
Show up and
There's
practice.
room. There's
Show up.
room for everybody. I don't care what, even if you're already doing the work, be a part of the movement so people can know what you're doing and we can support you and you can use your influence to support others. Um, I would say if you go to my website, Tabia Mawusi, TABIAMAWUSI.com. That is my website for my hypnotherapy practice, my spiritual consulting practice. I'd rather say spiritual coach or consultant than counselor. I don't know, something counselor makes me feel like I'm an attorney or
Yeah,
something. I don't care for the word. I consult. I don't even advise. I think I remember being in college and being told by my mentor at the time, Valerie Curtis Newton, who gave me the name Tabia Mawusi. And she's a professor over the directing program at the University of Washington. Anyway, she said to me, I don't give advice. I just share my life experience. And I tell you the stories of what I know and the wisdom that I have. And I let you make your choice. And I'm help you see what your options are. So that's kind of the type of consulting that I do. I don't give advice. But anyway, they can reach me there. And you can also reach me at bookings at tabiamawusi.com if you want any information on that as well.
I'm just putting that in here. TabiaWamusi.com. I mean, bookings at TabiaWamusi.
Go ahead, mess it up some more. It's all right. Mama woo woo, Mawusi. Mawusi. Yeah, Tabia bookings at tabiamawusi.com.
Okay.
If you're looking for, you want to get a numerology reading, you want to have a hypnotherapy session. Hypnotherapy is for helping people develop personal self development, whether it's vocational or avocational, meaning something that's going to help you on your job or something that's going to help you with your golf swing, right? So either way, vocational or avocational self-improvement. But also there's 145 different things that you can see listed on my website that hypnotherapy can help with.
All right. Robert McKinney, this is about the exterminate all the brutes. It tells the brutally honest history of colonialism, genocide, and white supremacy, and dismantles the Eurocentric framework through which history is normally taught.
Yeah, I got to check that out. Thank you so much. Exterminate all the brutes.
Yeah, it's in, and if you want, you can go back in the chat on the Facebook. You'll see it there.
Okay.
Brian Hoodie, great show. Thanks, appreciate you, bro, and thanks for the site. Of course. So, Miss Tabia, I appreciate you, and this won't be
yeah. I would love to come back because there's so much more we can talk about, but there's like 10 questions we didn't get to.
but that's what I told you. I like to do more of a conversation.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I can sit and ask questions, you answer, ask questions, you answer. But if we get into the conversation part, it tends to flow a lot better. So I appreciate your time. I know it's early out here, 7 o'clock in the morning.
It is
early. It's early, but hey, to everybody out there, thank y'all for tuning in. If there's something you wanted to leave everybody with today, something that they can grow with, build with, what would you tell them?
Today, I believe that if I want for myself that which I want for my brother and my sister, I will live a happy, loving, and abundant life, a life of purpose, as I will pursue my dreams and yours fearlessly and without apology. And I'm always unapologetically Black.
I said leave them with something. I ain't say hit them. No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And we will have you back on again and speak on it. And my guest, Tabia Mawusi.
Mawusi.
Mawusi. Let me get it right.
Mawusi.
Mawusi.
Mawusi. We'll get it. Now practice in the next time.
I'm going to have it right. everybody for tuning in. Thank you again to my guest, and we'll be in next week. So y'all, bear with us, and I appreciate y'all. And as I always say before I sign off, love yourself, love one another, keep your head up, and most definitely keep your faith in God. I'll see y'all again next week. Thank you again, Miss Tabia, and we're out. Love y'all.
Peace and blessings. Thank you.